Trending is brought to you by the Bahamas Adventist Book and Nutrition Center, located on Tonic Williams Darling Highway.
Hey guys, welcome to Young and Trending here on Word SBC 88.3 FM, where we always aim to be bold, be true, and be heard. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Pastor Nasa.
And today we're talking about RESPECT. Just a little respect.
Hey, find out what it means to me.
And yes, wow, what a broad topic.
Yeah, that could go all over the place.
In these days and times, respect.
What
does respect mean? Who do we give it to? All that good stuff. So this idea for the show came out of some recent events that have been going on. Okay. I don't know how many of y'all are tapped into that side of social media. But something that sounds very silly. But there's some interesting things happening with the royal family.
Okay.
Over there across the pond. And
we got a new king. That's pretty, yeah.
God save him.
Yeah, that's what it is. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And, you know, the royal family is no stranger to drama. You know, there was a Netflix show that came out that was so good called The Crown.
Okay.
And gained a lot of traction.
I never watched it. I hear a lot of people talk about it, though. Yeah.
And it gained a lot of traction. And recently, you know, Princess Kate, is that her name? She's kind of missing from the public eye. Okay. And everybody's like, where are you? Where is she? And she posted this picture. The public realized it was altered. The, what is it called? Buckingham Palace issued a kill order on the picture, which means that they told all press houses that you cannot post this picture. It's been altered. Kill the picture.
Okay.
So everybody's now into this drama of where is Kate? And it's a little funny, silly thing to keep people occupied. But a lot of the talk around that was, hey, we actually really do not care about this institution. We don't. Don't get us wrong. This is just some silly, funny, lighthearted, you know, interesting stuff to keep us entertained. But we actually don't care. We don't care. And I was having a conversation with my coworker who was like, wow, you know, in times past, the institution of the royal family and, you know, Buckingham Palace and the monarchy was so auspicious and, you know, people respected that. And I'm like, this generation doesn't really give that same, we don't lend that same thought to these institutions, right? No. We're a little, why should I care? Like, you know, you're colonizers. You eat people's money. Like, you're using taxpayer dollars to fund your lifestyle. Y'all have stolen jewels and whatever from around the world in your museums. Like, give it back. All this whole bunch of stuff. But here we reach the crux of the issue when we talk about a lot of issues that young people have or older people have. When we talk about each other, the institution or the concept of respect, right? Some older people, and I say older very broad as well. If you consider yourself not older, that's fine. But some older people think young people have no respect. And because we don't hold the same things in such high value or regard as they do, then we don't have that respect. They feel we don't respect them. When, you know, some young people turn away from their traditions or what they consider to be valuable and want to do their own thing or question what they've always done. They question the traditions. They're like, y'all don't have no respect. Y'all have no respect for traditions. Y'all have no respect for values. And so it's like, do we not?
Well, I mean, I think as we broach this subject, because that's a lot that's going on, we need to talk about what respect actually means. And so one definition we have here is, in the context now of interpersonal or intergenerational relationships, is that respect involves recognizing the value, dignity, and worth of others, regardless of age. So the value, the dignity, and worth of others. Now, a lot of times in society, respect has been linked to titles and positions, right? And I think that's one of the things that is the question of the day. Should a person automatically deserve the respect just simply because they attain a title or position? In the instance of, like, even the royal family, and we're going to branch off from that, they they get it just by being born.
Yep.
It's literally their blood.
Yep.
Because they were born in a particular family. Okay, but in the broader scheme of society, all the way down here in the Commonwealth, a lot of people, it's not so far-fetched for a person who has to go to their job on a day-to-day basis, have their own family, never ever even sniff Buckingham Palace, never ever even have to, do some type of pledge or whatever on their regular day-to-day basis. But then now they're supposed to automatically just give this type of deference and respect to this person. Mm-hmm. That's the question that people wondering.
Right.
And I would say it's a valid question, because how does this family, these individuals, impact my life on a day-to-day basis? Now, at the same time, does that mean they don't deserve respect? Should they be disrespected? Right, I think that's something that we could look at, because if you don't give them respect, then it's automatically disrespect. Like what does
that respect look like?
What does that look like? Yeah.
So something that's a little bit closer to home, and we have different levels of this. You have national events where we have government officials.
Okay, yeah.
Let's say, for example, there's a church service and they're coming in. Everybody's gonna stand up.
Oh gosh, look where you going now.
Sorry.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead, man. Let's go.
Everybody's gonna stand up, right?
All right. When certain people come, yeah.
Right. We stand and we give them that deference, that respect, quote unquote. You have certain denominations where their pastors or their bishops garner that same respect. So when they walk in, everybody stands, and they have a assistant.
Sometimes.
I don't want to say the wrong thing because I actually don't know what it's called. But sometimes they have an attendant.
Yeah, armor bearer.
Armor bearer. That's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Deacon,
you have different varying levels of things.
Yeah, different systems and way of going
about
it.
Some people would tell you that these titles and positions are worthy of this difference.
Okay.
And of this respect. And I said some because I know some people who actually don't. I was at an event and the person was like, why are we standing up? Is he God? And I was like, that's interesting.
So did we do a show on this? I don't know. Because this sounds like this is touching on the subject of honor. I feel like we did something, maybe that was honor of parents, maybe, or something like that. But this feel like, should we honor people? Yeah, because respect,
we should.
Because of what a person has attained, like to become a bishop, to become a political leader, to become some socially recognized individual of some type of status, representative, ambassador. Generally, we would think it takes a lot because everybody can't do it or become it. I know you could go somewhere, but so by virtue of what we would conventionally say are steps it takes to become that person, you would think that that's something that garners respect. Like you should be able to respect the person who has committed themselves to that goal, to the work, and putting themselves through all the things they have to go through to attain that particular thing.
And see, in that regard, I 100% agree. You have we respect doctors.
Right. People respect doctors. Just when you're a doctor.
And you respect that because you know the training.
Go ahead. I have something to talk about that too. But that's true. Doctors,
you know the training they have to go through generally. Right. Lawyers, the same. But now in today's, and I'll use the word woke and not in a derogatory way, in today's woke society, right? Our generation, and I think the one before us too, has started to look at some of these institutions and titles and now start to separate almost the person from the position. Because like you said, some of these positions should be hard to obtain. They should require a lot of work. They should require honesty, integrity, hard work, character, all of these things. Yet consistently throughout history, even if you want to look at, say, like home, consistently we've seen where people obtain some of these positions or seats of power, or their family come into, et cetera, by means that may be less than ideal, or that may have hurt other people, might have to do some underhanded stuff, or just simply by
connection,
generational wealth, and nepotism.
Yeah, nepotism,
right?
big word for just who you know.
And I
who
think
know you,
that
connection.
Generally, respect doesn't require you to like a person. Like, oh, I like them, I want to be friends with them. No, because we look in the business world, even some politicians, like, oh, we don't agree with their talking points, but we see them working hard in their community. I could respect that ethic. Like, you know, I don't respect this person, but I see that they have really good business ways, and they have put in the work and built an empire, etc. I respect that. But I don't generally like that person or agree with everything that they stand for. And I think maybe that's where some lines blur.
I think that this is one of the things that emerges, especially when it comes with older generations and younger generations, where you find it, I guess, more common where older generations would respect just by the virtue of, okay, this person is that thing, boom. That's respect.
Yeah.
And now you have younger generations that are coming up or that are here.
Like, what are you actually doing?
Who want to go dig into it and question, but what does that mean? Like for instance, like the doctor thing. Conventionally, oh, doctor, oh man, all right, yeah, man, we know you put yourself through rigorous study and all kind of stuff. Now
you a doctor of what?
See, right. Now you have generations will be like, doctor of what? Doctor of basket weaving. And it's an honorary doctorate. No,
and I love honorary doctorates.
Right, hey, and I knock it. Hey, if someone offered me an honorary doctorate, hey, well, thank you so much.
In a field that you've contributed a lot to.
Right.
I agree.
Well, thank you so much for recognizing.
Right. Sometimes we have, I think, to an academic space, a lot of times online, especially Twitter.
Yes, oh.
I'm on Twitter a lot.
School.
I love Twitter. Where you have people who have doctorates and it's in a specific degree, but because they have that doctor in front of their name, you know, their word is like very accredited to a lot of people. And when you dive into their actual credentials, you realize they have nothing really. And we know that if you work towards a doctorate degree, that requires, for a majority of it, a higher level of education and work ethic, because that is no easy thing at all.
But at the same time, too, you have where, and it's tying on to that, where you would have a person have a doctorate degree, and then
talking about something
people are right. People give them the respect. Okay, you are well studied, well educated, and then take their word as an authority on a subject that they're not a specialist in.
Not on, yes.
You know, but then you still have the people say, no, you got to respect them because of they're a doctor, or they are this particular position, or they're this director, or they're whatever X, Y, and Z. And then you have other groups now who are saying, hold on, but is that still your field? Is that what you're a specialist in? Is that something that you went and spent that time in? So should we give you that respect? And that's where we are. Like, how should we navigate? And then bringing, you know, as Christians, and how should we navigate the subject of respect? Is it merely based on the position? Like, should you respect me just because I'm a pastor? Or should you respect me because I'm an individual? Which one gets more respect?
Well, I think a lot of pastors feel like they should get respected just because they are a man of the cloth.
Okay. Shit. Hey.
Maybe we should.
I was going. Okay. Would you say on that? You say maybe
we should. Like, I think again, because then you don't want to go into the territory of not recognizing people's accomplishments and things that they've worked really hard for. But I think where the two generations kind of buck up is that blind loyalty, or that blind following, I guess I should say. We have a lot of, and you started on pastors, so that's where I'm going to go. Internet pastors, let me not call them internet pastors, but pastors who have churches who are also very active on social media. Pastors you watch on YouTube, like all over the place, even in person, who call themselves pastors. They have the degrees to go with it, and you listen to them, and they're not biblically sound.
So that, so that means that brings back the question: like, should we just adopt this mentality of respect them because they have the position, or should then Do we need to have some background information and some homework before we could respect somebody?
I think, unfortunately, though, we live in this, I don't know if this is unfortunate, but we live in a society now where questions are the norm. We're going to question everything. So where before, I don't know if people were truer to their word before. I wasn't alive. So Manasseh, you old. You'll have to tell me. People didn't question as much.
Yeah.
And now we're in a very, very curious age where I want to know why.
Yeah.
I want to know why you did that. Why do I have to do this? Why? I remember when the royal family, well, part of it, visited here a little while ago. I think that was a little while ago. And, you know, half of the people were like very honored that they were gracing us with their presence. And the other half was like, the only time you're going to pave the road is when these people come into town. And we've been complaining about these potholes for years. Like, y'all going to spend how much money to host these people and et cetera, like, you know. And it does put stuff into perspective a little bit. Why do we continue to hold on to some of these things? Because I think the other side of this that we definitely do have to touch on is that I think some things definitely are worthy of respect. That there are reasons that we differ or, you know, hold in high regard certain positions and titles. You would talk to, I would say, your boss of the company a tad bit, it shouldn't be drastically, but a tad bit different than you would your co-worker. You might be a little bit more slack with them than before your ultimate boss. You know, you would show a certain level of respect to the prime minister of our country if you're in front of him. Those things, absolutely. So we're not telling y'all to go run wild.
No. I think that and to your point, it's more so we're finding that line. You know, we always talk about the line. What's the line, right? You know, we always talk about that on Young and Trending. You know, what's the line?
What's the line?
You know, because we want to come, you know, because you don't want just a blanket assumption.
Yes, across the board.
Across the board. But at the same time, you should be able to have certain things that you recognize, okay, like I said, conventionally, what majority of these positions and titles supposed to represent is time and effort and energy and, you know, dedication and recognition of consistency in whatever field, so that, you know, this person now, this is a deacon, this is an elder, this is a pastor, this is a doctor, this is a director, this is a president. Like, okay, you committed yourself and you dedicated yourself. So conventionally, they should be things that we say, hey, I could respect and honor someone who committed themselves towards that end, and here they are. And I think at the same time, we should be able to try and find a line to be like, hold on, we should be able to scrutinize a bit more, to be like, hey, okay, if I were to check, or if it was to come out, you know, the path it took for you to be where you are, it should be able to pass, you know, certain, you know, bars of scrutiny. Like, you know, like, yeah, you did earn that degree. You put in the hundreds of hours and your dissertation or whatever to get that doctorate.
You did walk around your constituency.
You did go and
hold
talk
up your end of the bargain.
Right, you did
when you got into
follow
power.
through on your promises, you know, that you made before you got in, you know, or even if you got an honorary doctorate, you did put in the years and the time in that particular field that has been recognized, that made changes and impact, that we could say, you know what, yeah, man, he been doing a long time. She been doing a long time. You know, so I don't think it have to be an either or, but I think finding that balance between the two. But I think that's one of the things that comes up as an issue, because then you would have sometimes older generation saying, no, you supposed to just give it to me because.
Oh, okay.
Don't question me. Just go there, man. Don't just question. Like, I am this. I don't need you to come and question. Who are you to question? You just reach.
Right. You're disrespectful.
You disrespectful. You gonna ask me, but where?
So, to that same point, do we think? And I say we as in including our listening audience. They make this bigger than me and Manasseh. That adults or old people are worthy of our respect, or worthy of respect, just because they are adults, or just because they're older people. I think in generations past, that was a given. You respect your elders. We had that all the time. I respect my elders. right? Let me say that so the elders know I respect
Yeah,
y'all.
no, yeah,
Absolutely.
of course. I respect my. That's right. That's right.
And that was a given.
Mm-hmm.
You don't question. You don't talk back. You know, there's certain things you don't do, and you respect me because the what is it called? Gray hairs on my head.
Yeah.
The experience that I have, and that's pretty valid.
Yeah.
And where we run into dissonance is this generation is like, I'm not automatically giving you any respect. While respect is given where it's earned. So if you respect me, I'll respect you. Like, you know? And that could go into parents.
Yeah.
And what does respect mean to them? Because a lot of times it's just blind obedience. Like, oh, I'm your parent. If you don't obey me right this second and do this exact same thing, you don't respect me. And you're very disrespectful and you're ungrateful. When kids grow up and they turn around, like, share with their parents, like, hey, how you raised me, or when you did these things, it hurt me, then they're disrespectful. How dare you? I raised you. Like, you know, when you have younger people turn around and want to do something a different way, it's disrespectful, because why would you want to usurp the hard work that we've done and what we had to go through? Like, it's a slap in the face. So what does that respect mean?
I think that, and from a Christian perspective, then we could look at, and I said a word earlier that I think we could tie in a bit just to get a little bit of context, honor. And how do we honor these individuals, our elders, our parents, people, you know, of note in society because of their contributions or what they. And I think there's a few things we could do. We could honor them by supporting them. There is a text in 1 Timothy 5:17 that says, "The elders who are good leaders are to be considered worthy of double honor, especially those who work hard at preaching and teaching. For the scripture says, do not muzzle an ox while it is treading out the grain, and the worker is worthy of his wage." I think people who have attained a particular status or position, when it's the opportunity to support something that they're doing, because we understand they went through all of what they did to accomplish or become what they are, we should support them when we could. And so that's one way that we can respect them.
I think to gain wisdom from them, I think there's so much that they can share. I know that our experiences right now in this look of society is very different from what they had. However, there are some principles of life that are the same. Love, relationships, like these different concepts that I think they have so much to share and offer. And I do think sometimes as young people, we do a disservice to ourselves when we don't tap into that. I think because it goes both ways, our generation is very different.
Yes.
And we do need to give them a tad little bit of
grace, definitely,
in how they interact with us, in the advice that they give us, because sometimes you need to take the principle and not the actual advice, because it might not be applicable.
Yeah, it may not be applicable.
But they have a lot to offer, and I think that because we have access to so much, and I think a lot of times we do sometimes come off or feel, some people made it like we've arrived and you can't tell me anything. You know, it makes them feel slighted because they've walked through life.
They have
been married, they've had kids, they've lost jobs, they've been through heartache and death and all that stuff. They have advice to give. They have a lot to give as well. If we tap into that, and when you say like I don't care for what you have to say, like, you know,
you disregard
it, and that's not
that's
honoring.
Not, that's
and even
not
if
honoring.
It's not your parents, if you don't feel like that's a safe space or you don't want to get advice from them, there are other people around who you can tap into, who may over time through relationships become trusted mentors or sources that you can go to and get this advice from.
Definitely. I think another way that we could honor or respect is by loving them. 1 Thessalonians 5:12-13 says, "Now we ask, brothers and sisters, to give recognition to those who labor among you and lead you in the Lord and admonish you, and to regard them very highly in love because of their work." So even broadly, this applies to the church, but I think even broadly, the people who labor among us in society. So our teachers and these other individuals who contribute, they dedicated themselves to the length of time and study to become these different leaders. Even like politicians, even though some people would want to, look at them in some kind of way because of how they believe they got to where they are, they still have a role to play in society. And there's a lot of expectations and pressures on them for them to uphold. There's a lot of things we don't even know going on. And so we ought to love them in the sense that they need support and they need the love so that they could be in the best position to contribute to society the way that they could and should. Right? Not to say let them get away with anything, right? But we ought to, that's a different thing, right? But we need the help to do our part to put them in the position to do the best that they can to help us. So I think that's also another important thing that we could do. And this conversation, I think, as we wind down to the end here, is something that is going to continue on because different generations have different perspectives. But this final text that I want to share with us is found in Leviticus 19:32 that says, "You shall stand up before the gray-haired and honor the face of an old man or woman, and you shall fear your God. I am the Lord." This seems very across the board, but it shows us that by honoring those who are older, more experienced, who have gone on before us, who have this wealth of knowledge, that this in a way honors God. Because God himself sees what they went through and he understands the stories and what they have to offer.
He honors them.
And so he honors them. And by us honoring them, we too can benefit from what it is that they have to share.
Boy, that was good, by the way. That was good. This topic could also go several different ways.
We always just run out of time.
We went down several different avenues with this topic. Something I want to touch on is professionalism.
Oh gosh, we could do a show on that.
Professionalism.
I'll come back. We have another show on that. No. I know where we at. Come back.
Yes. But thank you guys so much for listening to us this evening. As always, it is a pleasure. And if you want to hear more of the show, you can catch us every Tuesday from 6 to 6:30 here on Word SBC 88.3 FM with reruns on Wednesdays and Fridays from 3:30 to 4. Did y'all get that? I was telling you the other day, some Japanese cars, I think, only have 88.3 clear in them.
Come on.
So shout out to all of y'all. Praise the Lord. Thank you so much for listening, even though you probably didn't have much of a choice.
We're glad you stuck with us.
Yes. We're also on social media, as you all by now should know, at SBC Media Network. We're on Facebook and Instagram, where you can go and watch our show. And more recently, we're on YouTube at South Bahamas Conference. That's our YouTube channel, South Bahamas Conference.
Yeah, that's
so you could go on, you can watch, like we always like to say, leave a comment. We'd love to hear your feedback. Leave a topic if you want us to talk about it. But we always love to have you guys with us. This has been Young and Trending here on Word SBC 88.3 FM. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Pastor Nasa.
And we'll catch you guys next time.
Peace.